name?
Sienna.
Sienna is my little sister.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
And I'm 8, and I also love space and science and okay, the list could go on. I'll stop.
The list is endless. So today, Sienna, do you know what we're going to be talking about?
Some sort of Q&A?
No, it's not going to be a Q&A. So basically, I thought I would talk to you about puberty
Okay.
and stuff like that and growing up. Because you're 8 years old now.
Okay.
And I started puberty when I was 10. So I just thought it'd be fun to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you're going to be experiencing it's a long time away, but it's not like that long, if that makes sense. Yes, Sienna?
Okay, yeah.
So I thought it'd just be like helpful for you. Do you want to talk about it?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Do you even know what puberty is?
Not really.
Any vague idea?
When you start growing into an adult?
Yeah, that's basically what puberty is. So I did a little bit of research here, Sienna, just to make sure that I'm like actually telling you correct stuff rather than just speaking about from my own experience. So puberty is the first stage of adolescence. So basically when you become an adult and when your body becomes an adult. And so it begins with your pituitary gland. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
What is that?
Is a gland is kind of like something, I think it like emits hormones and stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology, but basically there's this gland that is near the brain, which is like really, really tiny. It basically tells your body to start growing and it like releases these certain hormones, which basically make your body start to change and it makes you like grow taller and stuff like that. So that's why often when people hit puberty, you tend to have like a big growth spurt.
Just a quick question. Does it make your feet massive? Because my feet are really massive.
Yeah, it can make your feet and hands massive.
I mean, I guess I do need big hands.
Big hands? What for?
I don't know. Just like holding big things.
Okay, so for girls, puberty can start at any time between 9 and 15 years
Okay, if you
of
just...
age. So you're not quite there yet. But I think, I'm not sure if it's necessarily often genetic. Like I think it can vary depending, like just because your mum started at a certain age, it doesn't mean that you're going to start at that age. Because I started at 10 and so did mum. So it's probable that you could start puberty when you're 10. But I think the average age is 11.
Okay.
The most common age, but it also depends where you're from. So do you know what the first signs of puberty are, Sienna?
No.
Do you have any idea what happens to your body during puberty?
Kind of.
What?
I don't know how to say it without making it sound gross.
Sienna does know this, or you know some of this stuff, I'm sure.
Blood comes out of you?
Yeah, so you start your period, but that's kind of more later on. So it generally is normally like 2 years after you've started puberty, then most girls will get their period then. So it's not like immediately.
Okay.
It takes your body a while to be able to get to that, and even then once you first start your period, it takes like another like 2 years until your periods are like completely regular and your body is used to it. So like for lots of girls, when they first start their periods, it will be very like irregular and it won't come like, because normally it comes like once a month or like every 4 to 5 weeks, but when you first start your period, it's like very common for it to be like more regular or it to be less regular than that, like when it first starts, because your body's kind of like getting used to it. But do you know any other signs of puberty? Like it's not just your period, like the earlier ones.
This is just a guess. You start weighing yourself.
Weeing yourself? No! Weeing yourself has nothing to do with puberty.
Okay.
Don't know where you got that one from.
I just made a guess.
No, nothing to do with weeing yourself. So I'll tell you them, okay,
Well, that's
Sienna?
kinda good.
Generally, the first sign that girls experience when they know they've started puberty is you start getting boobs.
Okay.
Your nipple will start turning into a bit of like a breast bud, so it won't be like proper boobs immediately, like it takes a long time.
Okay.
But they might like hurt a bit as well, like, and be a bit sore. Like that was like it for me, it was quite sore
Okay.
as well. And this is like the first thing for most girls that they experienced for puberty. Another thing that is one of the first signs is you'll start getting body hair.
What?
So you'll get like hair on your armpits and you'll get hair on your private parts.
Okay.
You know that? Yeah?
That sounds good.
Yeah, and then you also get hair on your legs, and some people
But I've
can...
already got hair on my legs.
But it will like change. Like it will become like longer, and for some people it will go like darker and it will be like thicker and more coarse. You know, like the difference between the hair on your head is more like fine and soft than my hair. Like my hair is more like robust, if that makes sense. So your leg hair will turn from like fluffy, soft stuff into like thicker stuff. And this is what happens to boys as well. They'll start getting hair all over their bodies, but they'll also get it on their face and like on their chest and just kind of everywhere, to be honest.
It makes them sound like some sort of gorilla.
Yeah, you literally turn into a human gorilla, Sienna.
Okay, wow. Kind of sounds fun at the same time, not fun.
Boys can get it on like their face and then like on their neck as well.
I guess, do you get a beard?
Yeah, you get a beard. You get a beard. That is like, for boys, that's what happens during puberty. But some girls can actually get like hair on their upper lip as well.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happens when you're starting puberty. But I think generally you'll get a few hairs and then they'll slowly come over time. Like it won't just be all of a sudden you wake up one morning and you're covered in loads of body hair.
And you
like
turn into a Bigfoot.
Into Bigfoot. Yeah, it takes a while. Like it won't come immediately. Like it will take years basically. So it all happens so slowly you barely even notice that your body is even changing that much. Like it happens so slow. So another thing of puberty is basically because you're having all of these hormones and they're like changing and you're getting so much more of this hormone, so much more of that hormone, your moods will change a lot and you'll start to feel very like weird and funny and you'll get mood swings. I mean, you've experienced my mood swings, haven't you?
Yeah.
So like when you start puberty, even if you haven't like got periods yet, you'll still have like mood swings just from like your hormones going up and down. But also when you get your period, before your period, like a couple of days before, like a week before, and then like on the first days of your period, you can get PMS. I think it stands for premenstrual syndrome. So one of the things of that is mood swings as well. So you can get mood swings from your periods, but you can also get mood swings from puberty.
Okay.
I feel like when I'm having a mood swing, it's more for me that I get like really snappy. Like I'll just find stuff so annoying. Sometimes that's you, Sienna. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
Sorry about that, May. I feel like not everyone necessarily will experience mood swings as much as some other people, but for me, I feel like I do get quite annoyed and snappy. So, do you know what a period is?
Not really, no.
Okay, so a period happens because of changes in hormones in the body. Hormones are chemical messengers. So basically all of puberty and periods and everything like that is all to do with your hormones. The ovaries release the female hormones estrogen and progesterone, and these hormones cause the lining of the uterus, so your womb, so it will cause like the lining to build up. So then it's basically waiting for an egg to get fertilized so then it can turn into a baby. However, if it doesn't turn into a baby and there is no baby, then your lining sheds out of your womb and it comes out as blood. So the blood isn't actually like your blood as in like what's in your veins. It's not really even kind of blood then technically. It's kind of more like the lining of your womb and it comes out.
And what even is the lining?
It's basically this stuff that so then the baby would stick to it, the egg. And I'm not sure like what it does, to be honest. I don't really know that either, Sienna. So sorry about that, but it's kind of just like this stuff that helps the baby to become a baby, but then if there is no baby, then it just comes out of your body because it doesn't need it, and then it will start to build up again. So that's why it only happens about once a month, because that's how like long it takes for your body to build all the lining up. So then ovulation is something...
What does...
So ovulation is the release of an egg from the ovaries. So that is basically when the egg goes into your womb from the place where your eggs are stored. And then if that doesn't turn into a baby, then it will come out as well. Yeah, it's really, really, really tiny. Like you can't see it.
Right. Phew.
Yeah, don't worry. You don't actually turn into a chicken. A proper egg doesn't come out of your body. That would be pretty...
What happened?
So do you know how long a period lasts?
No.
Your cycle lasts a month, so that starts from when your womb starts shedding and then you release your egg and then it's like a break and then, well, there's like your period happens and then there's a little break and then you start ovulating, which sometimes people can get cramps from that when that happens. I've never experienced that. And then there's like a break and then it's your period again. So that's like the full 30-day, generally it's about 30 days. It could be like between like 27 to like 33, more or less a month. So then your actual period is just when the blood is coming out, which is normally about 5 days.
Well, the blood.
Are you nervous to start your period? I know it's gonna be like 4 or 5 years, but...
554%.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like when I was your age, I'm trying to think back to when I was 8. I remember when I was 9, so when I was in year 4. So I was like 8 to 9. So I was a little bit maybe like 6 months older than you are right now. And it was year 4 and we did a lesson all about puberty and stuff like that.
Okay,
and
okay.
I remember they told us about periods and all stuff like that, and I was a little bit nervous. I was like, I don't really want this to happen. But then when it actually started to happen to my body, it just like...
Was it fun? Did it feel like you're on a theme park ride?
No, but
Okay.
apparently I have heard that going through puberty can feel like you're on a theme park ride. Like,
Oh,
is it
what?
like your
Wow.
mood swings?
Oh.
It's like you're going on a roller coaster. But I think that's just an analogy. It's not like you're actually on a roller coaster.
Oh,
During
I'm really
puberty.
excited then. I was like, yay!
There's ups and downs to it. I think that's what they're trying to say.
Okay.
It may look like a lot of blood when it's your period, but a girl usually only loses about a few tablespoons of blood during the whole like 5 days. So most girls need to change their pad, tampon, or menstrual cup about 3 to 6 times a day. So it can really depend on person to person, but for me, I think my periods are normally like light. Like I have quite light periods. I'm not really sure about mum, because obviously like having babies and stuff can like affect the amount of blood that you get, but it kind of just, you'll find like a normal amount of blood for your body
I've
when
got a
you'll get
question.
used to it. Yeah.
I mean, it's not really like about puberty, but you know when mom gives birth, like obviously a bit of blood come out. Is that like the fake blood or is it real blood?
I think it might be like sort of the lining and stuff like that, and also just like general, like, because obviously you have like the placenta and all stuff like that. Okay, so I know I told you a bit about premenstrual syndrome, but do you know what any of the other stuff that can happen before your period, like the week before your period? So you can get cramps. So do you know what a cramp is?
I don't know.
You don't know. So basically a cramp is when your uterus is contracting. It can sometimes like give you like pains and aches, and for some people it can be very painful, and then for some people they don't even experience it, and then
Is
for
that-
some people it's only
Is that the same
very
thing you get when you've gone for
minor.
like a really long walk and it really hurts and like you can't use one
kind
leg
of
'cause
feels
that side of
like-
the hip hurt?
For me, it kind of feels like someone's like, it's all twisted up, and I feel a little, it's not like car sickness, but you can feel a bit like twisted up. That's the only way for me to describe it. It can really hurt.
Okay.
And you can also get acne, which is another thing about puberty that you can get just in general. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is, do you know like how to deal with your period? Like, do you know what this is?
I think I do.
What is it? Do you know?
Yeah, well.
Do you want to open it?
Open it, okay.
So generally what you have to do is you have to make sure it's hygienic. You have to, there's a side which is round, then this side there's a hole, you see? So we have to open it up from this side to be hygienic.
Okay.
So then this is an applicator tampon. So you can get tampons which don't have,
Ah, these are called tampons.
yeah, this is a tampon.
No, I'm taking it away from my face.
This is a tampon. So you shouldn't really touch this bit because that is what goes inside your body.
Okay, yeah.
So you should really only touch that bit because if not, it's kind of unhygienic. What you do is you put this up your body and then you push up like that. And then it
Okay.
goes inside your body and then this absorbs the blood.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah.
Go
on. It's not scary. It's perfectly clean. So yeah, this is what goes inside your body, and then once you're done with it, you just pull on the string.
Okay, wow.
So there's a few ways to deal with your period. So this is just one of the ways, a tampon. I don't really use these super regularly just because they're a little bit scary. I do find them a little bit scary. I don't really know. I do use these regularly, but I don't use them all the time. You could also use menstrual cups, which are very similar to tampons.
What?
But they're reusable. But I haven't ever tried those before. Basically, menstrual cups and tampons are the only ones you can do if you're like swimming. The only things you can use if you're swimming, going in a pool or something like that. And lots of people like to wear it if they're doing sports as well, just because it's more comfortable. But the only thing is you have to be careful with tampons is you can't leave them in for more than 8 hours because you can get this illness.
I don't wanna. Okay.
It's not scary. It's only if you leave it in for more than 8 hours, and even then you're not necessarily gonna get it. It's just to be safe. You mustn't ever leave a tampon in for more than 8 hours. You're gonna change it more often than that anyways, but like you mustn't leave it in for more than 8 hours because you can get this thing called toxic shock syndrome, I'm pretty sure, TSS. I don't really know much about it, but yeah, basically that's what can happen. So the other types of ones which don't go inside your body, they go in your underwear,
Okay.
are pads.
Yeah.
So you can get disposable pads or you can get reusable pads. You've seen my reusable pads, haven't you? I mean, they're in our suitcase, which we share. So you've seen those before, and I'm sure you've seen disposable pads before as well, haven't you? The disposable pads have like a stickiness, like a sticky tape. You just stick into your pants. And then a reusable pad has little poppers which pop underneath. So they're kind of like the 4 types that I know about that you can use on your period to collect your blood.
But you know the tampon things?
Yeah.
What would happen if it went inside you but you couldn't get it out? That's creepy.
That can't really happen. It just wouldn't be really possible. But I mean, if you really couldn't get it out, you could always you could go to a doctor and then help you. But that's so unlikely to happen. Like, it really wouldn't happen. So, do you have any questions?
Just in general, what did it feel like for you?
It felt very confusing. Like, puberty just in general was kind of confusing, but it wasn't necessarily scary though, because I felt like I was kind of ready for it, if that makes sense. And I didn't necessarily really want it to happen, but I kind of did at the same time. I did kind of want it to happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess it was just some things that I wanted to happen, some things I didn't want to happen, if that makes sense.
So do you have periods for your whole life? Not your whole life solid, every day of your life, every hour, every second, but do you have it for your whole life?
No, you don't actually. So you'll have a period every month, like you said, not every day. Yeah.
Every second.
Every second during your period. That would be horrible. You basically, when you're I think it's 50, people get this thing called the menopause, which is when you stop being able to have a baby. Because basically when you start your periods, that means that you can have a baby. So it's generally for people that's from, I think it's 13, 12 or 13 is generally when people start their periods, and then they'll not be able to have any more periods after age about 50. So your periods stop around about that age. Kind of like the menopause, I don't really know much about it because obviously that's not really my age.
I reckon you'll probably learn that when you're 40.
Yeah, I reckon you'll learn about the menopause when you're that
50.
age. I feel like it probably might feel a little bit like puberty, as in your hormones change a lot, kind of like that sort of thing. So it's kind of like your body changes, but I don't think your body changes as much as it does during puberty, but in terms of how you feel, it can change.
I think that's it for my questions.
Yeah? Okay, Sienski. So did you enjoy this little chat? Do you feel like you learned some stuff?
Yeah.
I feel like you're really embarrassed, which is really sweet. I just want to let you know that basically you can talk to me about anything. Obviously, I know you can talk to Mum as well, but you can also talk to me if you want to.
Secrets?
Like secrets, or if you are nervous about puberty or anything like that.
Did you know that today I stole Dad's chocolate?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
No,
you didn't. No, you didn't.
I mean, I don't even know if he has any chocolate.
So, Miracles, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found it helpful and enjoyable. I'll see you guys in my next one.